Okay, let's take a look at the back of the unit. Over here is the microphone in, and as you can see, it's just one microphone that they give you to bring in. And you can also see what we have here are two important features of both the line input level coming in from the microphone. When I use a standard live microphones such as a Shure and a dynamic, here I need to give a little bit more line level, and when I use it at home for recording using the condenser microphone, there it is, I do have the ability to put the phantom power. So it does send the phantom power signal for your condenser microphone. In this case, the level needs to be brought down a little bit. Okay, now moving over to the guitar. This is very important for giving the Digitech the ability to understand what you're playing and to follow the vocal harmonies correctly. Here you see very simply the guitar in, and at this point, if you like, you can use the guitar effects that are available inside the Digitech. I personally don't use much of them. I prefer to use my own effect, and for that we have the guitar through. So the guitar through then takes the unchanged, unprocessed signal out and takes it over to a different effect unit of your choice. There's also a guitar ground lift, and this is good for the guitars that don't have a preamp built in. Now fortunately mine does have a preamp built into the guitar, so I don't need the extra power. But for some of the older models of guitars or other types of instruments that would require that don't have a preamp, that will give a little bit more of a line signal to your instrument. Now for me, this is very important right here, this little button right here, the stereo mono. Simply by pressing the stereo mono, you can see it turns on and off the light, and this gives us the ability to have an output channel of stereo. Now I prefer to use the full capabilities of the unit and use the stereo. So I keep that on, and as you can see, I have the two outputs which carry the process signal left and right out to the mixing board. Here is the power and the power unit. One note about this, I think that this is one of the flaws of the Digitech, that there is no power switch on the unit. You simply turn the power on and off by plugging it in and unplugging it. So I've found that it's also very important to make sure that all of your connections are made, that everything is powered off first, and once all of these connections are in fact together, and then you can go ahead and plug in the unit and power it on first, and then powering up the mixing board and your speakers or monitors and so on. Okay, up to the mixing board for just one moment. I want to run through a couple things I've learned here. These are the two inputs, left and right, coming from the Digitech unit, and this is the signal coming from my guitar and the guitar effect. So coming down the board, you'll notice that I also have a compressor that is built into the mixing, and I find the compressor to be very important for controlling feedback. I have found that the overall response coming from the Digitech unit is fairly bassy sounding. So what as you can see here, the on my control of equalizer, I have my highs pretty well turned up, and the basses turned down a little bit. I have them panned completely left and completely right, so it separates the sound out well. The guitar leaving it center. Because the Digitech does a good job of separating out the main voice from the harmony voices and panning them left and right in stereo. Also, effects. This mixing board does have a effect unit built into it, and such as chorus and flanger, phaser, reverb, etc. I found that through playing with it that the effects that are coming from the Digitech simply don't require the additional effect on the mixing board, and it's important for me basically to either pull this down or leave it off, especially over on the effect for the Digitech, and maybe giving a little bit for the guitar. Okay, so let's start with the basics. This is the unit looking down, and as you can see we have 4 different pedals, each one giving different controls. Now the two on the right simply scroll through the different presets. There is the possibility of 100 different presets on the Digitech Vocalist. As you can see, I'm scrolling through them, and if you press and hold, it scrolls very fast, both up and down. Now the presets, as I said, there's 100 of them, and the first 50 numbers 1 through 50 are programmable, completely programmable by you, and the numbers 51 through 100 are the ones that are preset by Digitech, which is actually a great thing I've learned, because it makes sure that even if you muff things up a little bit, you always have the original preset from which you started. And the presets that come with the Digitech, I find, are good. They're very close to what you're looking for, and with some minor adjustments, you can make the sound that you're looking for with the different harmonies. Now, in moving around, let's see, I'm sorry, let me just show you the rest of the pedals. On the far left-hand side is simply turning the effect on. And let's see, do this with. So this gives the effect for the main voice. So it's basically saying if I want the 87 bigger, that it turns on that effect for the voice. And now it's off and on. If I press and hold the effect, it turns on the tuner. And the tuner is quite accurate, and it's quite necessary also for achieving the correct vocal intonations for the lead voice as well as the harmonies. So it's very important that the guitar is in fact tuned together with the unit and through the unit, and I'll explain that in a little bit. Excuse me. Suffering a little bit of a cold here, so the voice isn't what I would love to have. Now, as far as tuning, people have asked me about whether or not you can use alternate tunings with the Digitech. So far, I've found that there's absolutely no problem doing any Crosby, Stills and Nash type covers where they're using some alternate tunings. It is no problem at all. The Digitech is quite capable of handling the different tunings. What's important is that it's tuned to A440. And I personally use a half step down tuning because it meets my voice and makes a lot of the songs that I play a little bit easier for my vocal range.